Now, about me. I was born in Arkansas, raised everywhere. Um, Predominantly in Amarillo, Texas, is where I was raised most of my life. But I was always jumping from school to school, dealing with just different stuff. My parents always blamed it on ADHD. That's why I was back talking, as they said. That's why, whatever the case was, they always said, "Oh, it's because you have ADHD. You don't know how to sit down, shut up, and be quiet. You don't know how to listen. You don't know how to do this, that, or the other." What 7-year-old is taking care of their brother and sister because their dad's at work and their mom is either at work at that age, and you're going to you're going to school, and then you come home and basically you're having to clean the house, you're having to do everything because your mom didn't want to. Now, whenever I got a little bit older, about 9 or 10, it was getting to the point, once we moved to Grapevine, Texas, it got to the point where one day I didn't know my little sister was having a seizure. And we were at a hotel, and I had no clue how to use a hotel phone. My mom got upset. Next thing I remember, I'm being thrown to the ground in the kitchen because we had like a suite type deal there. I'm being thrown to the floor in the kitchen, being slapped and backhanded in my mouth for talking back whenever I told her I didn't know how to use the hotel phone. Now, what mother in the right mind considers that talking back because their child doesn't know how to do something? Now, if you can explain that, how that's back talking, please let me know. Now, that was the first incident. Going on from there, a few years later, my mom had my little brother, whenever I was 7 years old. And it just got crazy. My mom was diagnosed with postpartum depression. And my brother was, I think, about 6 weeks old. And she had her first episode when I think he was about 4 or 5 weeks old, where she grabbed a fork while I was in the kitchen doing dishes. She grabbed a fork, and my dad wasn't going fast enough to get trash bags or something out from under the sink, and she stabbed my dad in the back. And then I was having an anxiety attack, so she gave me a Klonopin. Now, I'm not going to state who my parents are, because I don't want any of this going back. This is years ago. I'm working on getting over it. Everybody makes mistakes. But anyways, my mom had given me a Klonopin, and I was up all night. Mind you, I was in, I think, 2nd grade in Miss Gillum's class. She had given me a Klonopin, and I was up all night vacuuming the floors, sweeping them up with the floors. I mean, washing marbles, because there was literally nothing else I could do in order to keep myself busy and occupied. Well, things just started going from bad to worse. We ended up moving in with my grandmother at the time, my Nana, and things are going, as good as you can expect. I really don't remember a lot of that. The first time we went with my Nana, I don't remember much of that at all. A few years go by, and we're back with my parents, and I was like 11, and I had done some things I'm not proud of. I was removed and sent to live with my grandmother. I was in 5th grade. Well, I was crying out for attention. Nobody knew that. I didn't know how to communicate. I didn't know how to tell anyone what was going on. That I just wanted someone to hold me, let me know that everything was going to be okay. But no, I ended up acting out at school. The principal called my grandmother. She came and picked me up, took me home, busted my rear end with a wooden cutting board. I mean, it was thick. A wooden cutting board that took me back to school. After that, everything was decent, I guess. I ended up, 6 months later, I ended up going back home with my parents. 6th grade comes. I'm going to school. I told a teacher I didn't understand something. She came over and she's like rough and gruff, being disrespectful. As far as I know, she's being disrespectful, using a gruff, disrespectful voice. This is how you do it. First of all, it's only like the second week of school. So I ended up rearing up and punching her. Straight in the arm, just punched her. Got up, left the classroom, I was expelled. I went to a Christian academy school, and at that school, I had ended up pushing a boy out of the way because he was just, I was agitated that day. I guess I didn't take my medicine. That's what everyone was saying. I don't know. All I know is they got in my way. I pushed him, and it ended up being homeschool for the rest of the year. I was given the answer books for the rest of the year. Just given the workbooks, given the answer books. Just went along my business. I didn't learn nothing that year. But I was past 7th grade. 7th grade, it was getting better. And then 8th grade came and I met the best woman in the world. And she was my English teacher. She was amazing. She was always there for me. I could go talk to her any old time. Miss Grove is what her last name is. I'm not going to say her first name, but she knows who she is. She encouraged me so much, even though I was failing her class. She encouraged me so much. She never gave up on me. Still to this day we talk. I am currently in college, but the abuse was just almost unbearable at points. I have a scar on my face right now from my dad because I was talking to a boy and was talking about moving whenever I was 19 years old. Why is it a crime for a 19-year-old to move out of their parents' home? I don't understand it, but stuff happens. You just have to learn how to get past it. I haven't had the talk with my parents yet, explaining how they made me feel, what the situations are. Sometimes you just need to talk it out. Explain to them, look, this is how you made me feel. In order for me to get past it, in order for me to move on, I need to talk to you. I need you to understand how you make me feel, how you made me feel. Sometimes it's easier said than done, but it all gets better. If you need someone to talk to, just holler at me. Like I said, I'll leave my information down below, my Facebook information. I don't want to say everything at once because it's a lot, but that's the gist of what happened. Talk to y'all later.